Alright, so just a quick video on something. I recently had a buddy that painted a really nice C10 project that he's been working on for a while, and it's kind of like a DIY job, and he sent me some images after it was painted, and what he had run into was they didn't take care of some sanded through spots. I don't know if they were this bad or not. I think they were by the pictures that I got, and so I was going to kind of give a short video on how to deal with that. So this is just a Chevy Silverado lower valance, and fixed a lot of issues with it and primed it all over. And this is like a 400 grit sandpaper finish. And you can see on the edges, it's just almost, it's tough not to go through those sharp edges. A little bit of filler right here, and then that raw plastic on the edge. It's just kind of hard to not go through it when you're sanding a piece of rubber like this. So what we've got is just to give you a heads up. So before you spray any paint on something like this, there's sealers available, and that's definitely an option. That's the most viable option. But if you're living on supplies, or it's like a DIY job you're doing at home in your garage, and you need something to take care of an issue like this, I'm gonna spray this all over. I mean, you could hit these little spots, and kind of spot prime them and then paint. But it's just such a small piece. This lower valance, I'm just going to spray a 2K primer that you would already have from doing the repair on your body work, on whatever you're working on. So to take care of all this, and just go ahead and seal this entire piece before the base coat's applied, I mixed up just a small amount of 2K primer, the same primer that's already on there after the repair. It's a 4-to-1 urethane primer that most of you would be using most commonly, and mix it with a 25% reduction. In this temperature, I used a medium reducer, so that'll get it thin enough to spray really slick. Make sure not to run it right before paint supply, but I'll spray that coat of 2K as a sealer. And then base coat, urethane base coat can go right on top of that, as you'll see. So, like I said, you make sure not to run this when you thin that primer down that thin, and so you can spray it that thick. A downside is that I'm going to walk away from it a little bit longer than, like a coat of base, would have like about a 10-minute flash time. It's about 70 degrees in here, maybe 72. So, I'll probably seal this with a 2K, like I said, 4-to-1 hardener, 25% reducer, and then walk away from it for about 30 minutes. It don't have to be dry, but I'm going to give it a little bit longer of a flash time, and then come back and directly apply a base coat right on top of it. So I hope that helps somebody, before you spray paint don't spray paint on any kind of like raw plastic or filler like that. So you should already have some primer if you're doing some repair work. So it's just going to be used as a sealer. So you can see here, nice slick finish. No more raw edges, plastic and filler. So now I have a good surface to spray the base coat on. Actually, another reason why you don't want to let this dry too long is it would need to be lightly sanded or scuffed again for a mechanical adhesion for the paint to stick to. So this has been about 25 minutes or so by the time I mix up the base and put it in the gun and come in here and spray. I'll be right at 30 minutes. So that's still wet enough for this 2K primer that was applied as a sealer to chemically bind to that base coat that's a urethane as well. So the paint will stick right to this, and we'll get it base coat, clear coat. Alright, so I've put 2 coats of base coat on this this valance. You can see I've kind of reoriented it the way I wanted it sprayed. I can kind of get to you know, the sides a little bit better than it was laying flat. I've already put the third and last coat, or what would normally be the last coat on this bumper, to get it covered with a base coat. But I want to put one more coat because I want you guys to see a way that I learned years ago to kind of blend these metallics. Just another tip. These silvers and golds are notorious about kind of having tiger stripes in them with the metallics. You know, you may be spraying side to side linearly, or, you know, this way in lines, but, and you'll, you know, it's really easy to get like stripes in your metallics. So, I've already blended this, but I'll put another coat on, just showing you guys what I'm doing. So what this last coat would be to kind of kill some of those stripes or get rid of any of that kind of striping is if I'm spraying in lines, you know, with a 50% overlap, just whether it's this way or for whatever reason you're painting a panel and you're spraying, you know, an opposite way, to get rid of those stripes, what I'm going to do is spray, instead of being closer to the panel, putting color down, I'm going to kind of back off approximately 18 inches and just kind of blow those metallics in a crosshatch method, or like an X, so to speak. So if I was painting, like I said, lines this way to get my coverage, this last coat I would come back and blow like a X pattern, if that makes sense, at about 18 inches back. And what it's going to do is it's going to cover this panel in, I'm not really adding color at that point, I'm just blending all the metallics together in a uniform fashion to kind of kill those stripes. So I'll show you another coat. I've already done it, like I said, on this third and final coat with this, but I'll add another just to show what I'm talking about, and then we'll get some clear coat on this bumper. So here you can just see an overview of the bumper, how it turned out after the clear coat. You can see that the imperfections on the edges of the edges that would have been painted without the sealer being applied, it would have kind of soaked up that base and you would have seen some imperfection on those edges. So that's what the sealer was for. And also you can see the uniformity in the metallics, how it don't look striped or anything. That's what I'm trying to show in the blending of the metallics. So I hope you learned something, and I appreciate it.